The Count, a lesson on relationship. I need help with a major decision. My wife and I have been married for 15 years, and co-workers for 18 years. We met at work and were attracted to each other but were married to other people. We both did the honest thing, and divorced our spouses, and got married. For the first 10 years we had one of the best marriages I've ever seen. We work in industrial sales and merchandising, so we sometimes have to be apart. Usually about a week or less, a month. I trusted her completely and she did me, so there were never any issues. The times we were together were wonderful. About the 1st of September, I decided, on a whim, that I would go to where she was, Atlanta, and surprise her with a romantic weekend. I've never done this before, without informing her beforehand. I got to her hotel and asked the desk clerk what her room number was. And he told me that Smith couple were up in their room. Smith isn't our name, I'm just using it to illustrate. I went to the room and she came to the door in a man's robe. I brushed past her and in bed was another man. I left and flew home. She called me, almost before I left the hotel, crying, and said that she was guilty of having an affair for several months with this other guy. But it meant nothing to her. Just a way of not being lonely when we were apart. I didn't and don't buy any of it. Since that night, I've only spoken to her on the phone or email. She has vowed to be completely honest, in the future. Has ended the affair. So she says, and is willing to do whatever I want to reconcile. Both families want us to get back together and are pressuring me to give her another chance. My question is, why should I? We both had a child in our previous marriages, and they are both grown up and on their own. We are both fairly young, middle age, me 45 and her 43. I know I can get another woman, so why should I even try? Neither of us cheated before. We worked together, in the same office, and during normal daily routine, realized that we had a lot in common. But we were scrupulous in not flirting or anything until after our divorces. Hers was final, before mine was, so during that time, we had as little contact as possible. Had it been a one-night thing, I might have considered it, but this has been going on since June, when she transferred to Atlanta. But now, with this revelation, how do I know that this is the only guy? She swears that this is the only guy, and that they had slept together only 4 or 5 times. Mostly they just went to dinner, etc. I know very little about the other man. He is a black guy about 50, who looks much older than me, with gray almost white hair, but about the same size. When he saw me coming into the room he ran into the bathroom and locked the door. I don't know if he's married or single, and have not asked my wife. Nor do I intend to. I kind of resent those who say that she and I were cheaters to our previous spouses. We did nothing even remotely unfaithful. No kisses, bonding, texts, phone calls or private conversations. Nothing but everyday work stuff. We were both in troubled marriages, and the only thing I thought was that she was someone I could go for if I weren't married. My first wife was well aware of her and didn't care as long as we got a divorce. She called tonight and is willing to do all of the things you mentioned, including a polygraph. She has asked and received a transfer from the Atlanta route to a route in Western PA, and has sworn she has ended all contact with the OM. She is home now, at her mother's, because I wouldn't allow her to stay in my house. It is in my name alone. I don't have any idea if or when I could ever trust her again to be faithful. And I also don't know if I would ever be able to sleep with her after what she has done. Right now, she is tainted, and I am filled with disgust. I feel that if she has told me the truth, and if everything is as she has said, I am still going to have to work hard to reconcile. Right now, I don't want to put the effort into reconciling with her and have decided to begin divorce proceedings. I told her this morning. She cried, of course, then told me that she was so sorry, and would do whatever she can to help with my recovery, even if I can never be with her again. She said that, if I chose to give her another chance, that it would be all about me, and she would prove her honesty, fidelity, and love, and would go to the wall for our marriage. I don't know how I will feel in a few months, but right now I can't believe her. She has already taken steps to show her remorse. She showed me the NC email she is sending him and gave me a list of polygraph examiners in our area, and said that she didn't have unprotected bonding with him. I talked to her this afternoon, and the OM is a widower, who doesn't want an exclusive relationship, but just a duck buddy. My wife said that it meant absolutely nothing to her beyond quick fun. She described him as a walking dildo. I really can't understand it. When we are together, she treats me like a king. We have bond at least 7 or 8 times a week. She caters to every whim I have and will cook anything I want or wear any clothes I want her to, or do whatever I desire. She has my name tattooed on her bottom, and swears that I am the only man she will ever love. But she cheated. One thing I do know is that if we divorce, she will be well able to take care of herself, as we both make plenty of money. So why is she fighting so hard to reconcile? Had I not caught her, I would have said that she was the perfect wife. And I also know that I will never find a more beautiful and obedient woman. It all makes no sense. I am beginning to think that she has some unresolved issues from childhood or when she was in college. She has suffered some trauma that has skewed her thought processes. I told her today that she must begin counseling and have some answers before I will even consider trying to Her ex-husband once told me that their marriage was a nightmare. They fought all of the time, and she was always afraid of him. I wonder if he beat her. On the other hand, we almost never argue, and haven't had 3 or 4 fights in the 15 years we have been married. One further word. She told me once that she hated being alone, more than anything, and would always talk to me on the phone for hours when we were apart. I don't know if this means anything or not. I told her today that we are divorcing unless she can present overwhelming reasons to continue the marriage. The burden of proof is on her for the rest of our marriage, whether it's 6 months or 60 years. If I catch her in a single lie, then it is over permanently. I will know where she is and who she is with 24/7, and she is to have no internet or cell phone. And I get all of the money, including her paychecks. This is just for starters. A polygraph will take place in the next couple of weeks, but I'm not going to warn her in advance. Make no mistake, the divorce is going to happen, unless she goes to the wall to show commitment, respect, love, and desire. And that it is genuine. I will know everything, or we are through. No ifs, ands, or buts. I will also not tolerate any trickle truth, or any lies, in the future. She has agreed to all of my demands, but talk is cheap. She has to basically prove everything, all of the time. I am not going to monitor her at all. She is going to monitor herself, to my satisfaction. She will do all of the heavy lifting, until I am satisfied that I have gotten to the bottom of this business. If she doesn't know why she did it, she had better be finding out, through counseling, therapy, or whatever. If she was abused or raped, I need to know it. But it remains for her to do it. As for me, I'm getting a divorce. Unless she can prove all of it. I'm pretty sure that when she takes the polygraph, I will find out if there have been other men. The examiner I've chosen is one of the best and is used by several divorce attorneys and law enforcement professionals, and has a list of recommendations as long as your arm. I talked to him briefly and he sounds pretty confident that he can get the truth out of her. I'm not familiar with the procedure, but I'm going to try it for my own peace of mind. She has agreed to it, but, of course, it hasn't happened yet. If she backs out, it is over for good. I am taking her to the poly on Wednesday afternoon. She thinks we are going to meet for lunch and discuss the divorce, and to give her a chance to explain herself in person. I hate being devious, but I don't want her to expect anything until we get to the examiner's office. Then if she backs out, or confesses to any other affairs, I will have my answer, and can proceed to kick her to the curb. One thing that has me really confused is how much she is fighting to stay married to me. I happened to mention that maybe we should divorce or have an open marriage, then we both could play when we are apart, then be together the rest of the time. She started crying and said she would kill herself if I was with another woman, and begged and pleaded with me not to do it. Told me she would crawl on her belly in public if I took her back. What a mess this is. The polygraph is history, and I learned a lot from it. Before she took it, she said that they had slept together less than 6 times, and that proved to be the truth. After the test, the examiner said that he is very confident of the results. Confident enough to refund my money if he is wrong. According to the test, this is the only man, other than me, who she's been with since our marriage began, and there hasn't been any inappropriate contacts or texting or websites, etc. until this time. She has been clean. What the poly cannot tell me is why. Other than this affair, she has been a good, loyal wife. What changed in her? I ask her and she doesn't know or says she doesn't know. I am going ahead with the divorce anyway. I'm still young enough to find a new lady, a real lady. In fact, there is a really good-looking woman who works at my broker's office, who has asked if I would like to go to lunch sometime. She is 37, and very hot. I called her today and we are going to dinner tomorrow. I treated my STB ex-wife very well, and even though this affair is the only one, it is one too many for me to live with. My parents and hers will be shocked, but it's my life. And I'm not going to live it with somebody I cannot trust, and who has disrespected me so badly. I called my wife and told her that I was going to dinner with another woman, and she was devastated. But so was I when I found out about the affair. So what? I also told her that the divorce will not be final for 6 to 8 months, so she has that amount of time to prove to me, beyond a shadow of a doubt, her love, loyalty, devotion, desire, and complete transparency, and to be able to prove it every day for the rest of her life. That, my friends, isn't going to happen. Nobody could live under such conditions. But, hey, maybe she can pull it off, but I'm not waiting around for her to do it. I told her that I would put a notice of separation in the paper tomorrow, and that I would feel free to see who I please. I am not going to have a revenge affair. My marriage is in limbo, but as far as I'm concerned, it's over except for the legalities. Big if she really goes to the wall and I'm certain about her, then maybe I will try a new marriage with her. But I wouldn't count on it. But until then, I am my own man. I have told the other lady about my situation, and she agrees to go out with me as a friend, and hopefully she can convince me that reconciliation is impossible and that she would be a better match. Funny thing, another woman hit on me at work. She is a beautiful white woman and a VP in the company. Why is all this happening to me? One thing for sure, finding out that other ladies are interested in me has sure taken a lot of the pain away and helped with my self-image. The answer is simple. I didn't cheat, so I'm not putting any extra effort into the marriage. I didn't break it, so I'm not going to fix it. I'm the type of person that when I make up my mind about something, it's up to the other person to change it. Not me. I invested 15 years into this marriage, and what did I get for it? A cheating W for a wife? I don't deserve that. If another woman can show me more love and respect than my cheater wife, why would I stay married to her? I've listened to all her arguments, excuses, and alibis, and am not convinced at all. I might never be convinced that she is really remorseful, but if I am, it's because she has put the work into changing her behavior. I simply think that it is unlikely that she will do it. I would be thrilled if she did, but I don't think she has it in her. He cheated all by herself, right? So, she can prove the opposite, all by herself. I understand that if we have marriage problems, then we both try to fix it. An affair is different. It is the unilateral action of the WS, without concern or respect for the feelings of the BS, right? So, she broke it, she fixes it. If it's going to be fixed, she has until the divorce is final. But in the meantime, I'm going to enjoy life and keep my options open. Understand, I really don't want to go through the hassle of divorce, and it's no fun. But I will not stay married to a cheater, nor even a reformed one, unless she is prepared to basically be at my beck and call forever. She will have no social life that I do not approve. She will quit her job, if I tell her to, and will conform to all of my needs, period. Remember, she cheated, I didn't, so I call all of the shots, and she either proves her obedience or goes somewhere else. If she had never cheated, it would not have had to be this way. But she did, and it does. I know her, or at least I thought I did, and she can be very determined. So far, she has done everything I've asked. She has exposed the affair to everyone we know, including our church, our kids, our employer, etc. She took the poly without a moment's hesitation and proved her words. But that isn't nearly enough. She will have to undergo IC. I will have control of all phones, PCs, and our social life. And she will have no contact with any man whatsoever, unless I allow it. A good marriage is between equals, until one of them cheats. Then if the marriage is to continue, the cheater must be completely subservient to the BS, until the BS is satisfied that the WS can be trusted again. That's my feeling on the matter. Because she asked for it, and because she was a good wife for 15 years, she has one opportunity, until the divorce is final, to prove herself. If she does, I can always stop the proceedings. If she doesn't, then it's showtime. If she proves herself a faithful, trustworthy, loving wife, and does so to my satisfaction, then the divorce is off, and we can make a new, improved marriage. I am not so unfeeling or boorish as to hold the past over her head. If she is able to do so, I would be happy. I just don't think, right now, that it is possible. She asked for the opportunity, and she has 8 months to do it. By the way, I do not call her names, snarl at her, or in any way abuse her. For you to say that I'm filled with hate is your projecting, not my true opinion. I am protecting myself, nothing more. I have decided that if I find another woman I want to sleep with, I will certainly tell my wife that the possibility of reconciliation is ended. I would never want to string her along. If she hadn't asked for the chance to prove herself, until the divorce is final, I would have considered myself a free agent. But until it's final, I will date, but not get physical, unless it's my wife. But that raises whole different problems. Am I angry at my wife for cheating? Hell yeah, and I have a right to be. Will I use her as a slave? Of course not. I know as well as you, that isn't the way to have a marriage. What I am doing is tough love. My wife cheated, lied, disrespected me, and slept with another man. So she has to prove beyond any doubt that it will never happen again, right? No excuses, no exceptions, no if, ands, or buts. I must have total confidence in her. The same amount I had when we first got married, or I am finished with her. She asked for a chance to do this, and I gave it to her. If she can do it, then we will make a new marriage, and it will take time. But first, she has to prove she is worth the investment of my time and affection. Until then, I am not going to do anything to make it easier on her, because we tend to place a greater value on those things we have to struggle for than on those things which are easier. I feel that I am giving her the only thing I can or am inclined to give: a chance. She has until the divorce is final to get her act together. But whatever, she jumped at the chance, and we are in complete agreement about it. I am not going to sit home, suffer, cry, or beat my chest in sorrow. I didn't cheat. Why should I suffer any more than I already am? I am making the conscious decision to move on, to go beyond the affair. If she proves herself, she can come with me. I am not going to be married to a woman I have to worry about or mistrust. She has to change, not me. If we had problems in the marriage, I wasn't aware of it, and she never tried to communicate any issues she had to me. But none of this is relevant until the affair is dealt with. There are two different dynamics. First, the affair has to be dealt with to my satisfaction. Second, we rebuild our marriage together. My dating other women is more for my benefit than anything else. I enjoy socializing, and see no reason why I shouldn't continue to do so. I am not stupid, I know better than to get involved with someone else at this time, but I also see no reason to deny myself some cordial, non-physical entertainment. If another woman does interest me, I will certainly tell both the woman and my wife. I have never, nor will I ever, attempt to deceive anybody. One thing I would like to point out, if she proves herself to my satisfaction, and the affair is put to rest, I will be very willing and happy to work just as hard as she does to rebuild our marriage. But for the 8 months until the divorce is final, she must consider all of my needs first, last and always. She must become a good woman again, because I will never be married to a bad one. I allowed her into the house today to get some of her things, and she practically got down on her knees to beg forgiveness. She says that she will prove herself worthy and has already asked for and gotten a transfer to the home office, so she will not be traveling again. She gave me her credit cards, phone, and PC, so now what the duck am I supposed to do? I pay all of our bills, so I will know what she spends and where and why it was spent. I have her cards, so now I will have to give her an allowance every week. This is turning into a huge pain in the back. She went to confession and has been absolved, and said today, I am your maid until I can be your wife again. What the crap is that supposed to mean? She said that she will obey what I say, even if it means divorce. That my healing is the most important thing to her right now, and she will do everything to help me over this. She has agreed to counseling, and says she is looking forward to it, as she is sure that the assault issues she has is what lead her to make such bad choices. Some of the crap is new to me. She had never told me about her childhood, and I never asked. Hell, I didn't know that anything like this existed. Her ex-husband once told me that she was frigid, but I never saw any evidence of it. Our physical life was great. She told me that I am the only man to give her the big O. I wondered if she was just schmoozing me, so I had the polygraph examiner ask her about it, and he said that she was telling the truth. So, why did she cheat? If it isn't about the bonding, then what is it about? This is beyond a doubt the most frustrating and annoying thing I have ever had to deal with. It makes me crazy, trying to understand. I don't know if all of this can be done before the divorce is final. I am keeping to my timetable. I am not going to deal with this issue one moment longer than I have to. I have always been a stand-up guy and am willing to work with people to solve their problems. But this is my marriage, and I will either see it fixed and the affair consigned to the past or ended in the time frame that is mandated by the laws of my state. I love my wife, but perhaps not enough to go the distance with her. If this had been a disease, like cancer, I would have been there for her to the death. I would have sacrificed anything and everything for her, up to and including my own life. Or maybe the question should be, what will she do to fix what she broke, including the childhood issues she has? How much is she willing to make amends, and what will she sacrifice to regain her lost honor? She says that she will do anything, will jump through any hoops I tell her to, will get whatever counseling she needs, and will tell me all of her past history, literally everything. If it will help me heal, I guess time will tell. I will heal just fine, as long as either she proves herself and the marriage changes for the better, or she doesn't and the marriage ends. I am far more frustrated by the interim than by either ending. I have researched a lot of these reconciliation sites, and the one thing that always struck me was that those betrayed spouses who were forgiving and conciliatory almost always end up divorced or in unhappy and mistrustful marriages, and it seems to take years for them to get over the affair. Many posters have gotten on me for being tough on my wife, and have called me hate-filled, etc. They should consider this. If I didn't love my wife, I would never have given her a second chance. Would I? I am making it very tough on her, on purpose, not to be cruel, but to be sure that after 8 months, I will know, beyond doubt, one of two things. Either my wife is mine, body, mind, and soul, or that she can never be trusted and I will divorce her and look for a better woman. Remember, none of this had to happen if she had been faithful in the first place. I told her point blank that it doesn't matter how much we bond. Bonding is not a replacement for love and trust. And the divorce goes on. Besides the bonding, however, she asked for some money to pay some bills and clean the house. In nothing but an apron, she told me that she will do anything I want her to do, in bed or out. A few things have happened that I've not said anything about. 1. She starts I see next Monday and told her counselor to give me an update and answer any questions I might have. I don't know if it is legal or not for a counselor to be answering questions about a client, but she will as long as it's okay with my wife and according to the law. I went to see the OM last week and informed him what I would do to him if he ever had any contact with my wife. He was properly afraid. Frankly, I don't know what she saw in him. He is way older, fatter, and poorer than I am on my worst days. I am pretty well endowed. During the poly, my wife stated that the bonding wasn't very good and that she never came close to having the big O. So I don't get it. She isn't crazy, but she does have issues that I am only just now learning about. From the poly and also from talking to her mom, she was very seriously abused by her father when she was a young girl. Not physical, but verbal and physical, apparently including a very rigid lifestyle, reinforced by frequent beatings. This was one of the main reasons her mom divorced him and remarried to her stepdad. I was oblivious to all of this except that she had a stepfather. Of course, one of the things that gives me some hope is that she loves me enough to truly work on her issues. The threat of our divorcing has opened the lines of communication somewhat, and she is telling me all of this new information because of her terror that she might lose me. She told me that she had begun to think about ending the affair almost as soon as it began, or after she had gotten what she wanted, which was another man to tell her that she is beautiful. I truly think that she needs, or needed, a lot of validation. Add to that her relationship with her father. He showed her very little love, but a lot of anger. And she has some serious self-image problems. The affair and subsequent fallout have lowered it even further. Now, in her mind, she isn't either beautiful or a good, honest woman, but a cheap woman. This is what she calls herself, not my words. She fully realizes that she will be judged by both families, friends, co-workers, and associates, and is just now waking up to all of the damage she has done. But as I said before, she is a strong, determined woman, and totally filled with remorse, so she will undoubtedly try hard to redeem herself and prove that this affair was a horrible lack of judgment. Well, I allowed her to stay the night, tonight, after a lot of begging and promises of a great breakfast. We talked a lot about the affair, and she was very forthcoming about it. She told me that the OM validated her beauty, and she is afraid that she is getting old. She said that she never meant it to get physical at first but got drunk with him and she felt like she owed it to him. I called bull crap on that, but it's no matter now. She cried almost all evening, saying how filthy and vile she felt, and that the other times, she just felt like cheap and didn't care about herself anymore. She is way more concerned about me and what she calls her treachery to me. She promises that she will find out the reasons for her behavior and change, and that she would understand if I decided to chill with every woman I see and kick her to the curb, but that she will prove herself worthy if I decide not to divorce. But if I do, she will love me forever and never stop pleading for forgiveness. I have already told her that whether or not we divorce, I would always be supportive of her while she is undergoing therapy, and that if anything good comes from this, it will be that she learns how to cope with her past and deal with her issues in an appropriate manner. Funny thing, when I said this, she was all over me sobbing and saying that I'm the only man she has ever loved, or will ever love, and that if it takes her lifetime, she will make me proud of her. Days later, an update on my situation. I found out Friday that my wife is still in contact with the OM she emailed him. Needless to say, I am finished with the whole thing. I told her that same night that there would be no reconciliation, and for her to get her things out of my house this week. She didn't try to hide the emails and they were innocent, merely reiterating her decision to not see or talk to him again. But that isn't good enough for me. I specifically told her there was to be no further contact with him, ever. She felt she owed it to him to explain her decision. Not nearly good enough. I feel that she owes him nothing, and me everything, and so it's over. I will now consider myself a free man, and date and see whomever I please. I began the process of packing her things up tonight, and it is really hard to say goodbye to 18 years of involvement. I have made the decision to look forward to the future and consign her to the past. I have told her family that I will still consider them friends and my stepkids will still be my kids, even after the divorce. Needless to say, she has been burning up the phone, email and texting like crazy trying to explain away her actions. But now I think that even her parents realize that she needs help. I told her that I would be there for her as a friend if she chose to continue therapy. And I think that is about all I can do. What do you people think? I really am trying to make this transition as painless and courteous as possible. After 18 years, of course I still care. I still care for my ex-wife, too, but that doesn't mean I would go back to her. I do, however, want both of them to be happy and well-adjusted. I am really surprised how well I seem to be dealing with all of this fallout. I have another date with the same lady from last week, and it looks very promising. She is very mature, intelligent, but loads of fun, like my daddy used to say, and is really into being with me. She was one of the voices that advised me to give my wife another chance, so she has no axe to grind and says she is willing to be friends with benefits with me. until my divorce is final. The only way for me to keep my self-esteem and integrity is by following through with my actions. I told her explicitly that she had one chance, and one chance only. And NC was one of the stipulations. I am not going to go through the next years worrying about a wife that can't be faithful even to herself and her promises. I have watched many stories about betrayed spouse being trickle truth, affairs going underground, the fog, and other nonsense. And I, quite simply, will not have any of it. Some very bad news. My wife is in the hospital under X watch. She attempted to do herself in yesterday morning. She has been trying to contact me since I told her that I would not take her back. She maintains that the only reason she contacted the OM was to give him and herself closure. I can't be sure about anything right now, but that I want her to recover and be able to get control of the demons she has. Was it a real attempt or a grandstand play to stop the divorce? I don't know, but I feel like I have been hit on the side of my face. I have not gotten back sooner, because I've been meeting with family, doctors. The attempt was apparently genuine, and she would have been trouble except for a neighbor's assistance. After drinking too much, she did a bunch of things, then realizing what she had done, went out the door and fainted in the yard. Her parents' neighbor is, like myself, a combat veteran, and was able to stop her. She will be in hospital for a long time, undergoing intensive therapy. So I am putting the divorce on hold until she is able to regain control of her life. She will have the best of care. I do not know what I will do about the divorce in the future, but I will never abandon her. While I live, I don't think luck has anything to do with it. Like I said before, I took my wedding vows seriously. My wife's mental problem is no different than any other illness, and I will take care of her to the best of my ability. When she has recovered enough and is able to handle her emotional well-being, then we can deal with the issue of divorce, which is still very much my intention if I am not sure of her ability to be a faithful wife. Or reconciliation. Her health comes first, then what follows will be for the benefit of us both. My comment, part 2 coming tomorrow morning. Do you think the wife is playing games? Or she is serious? Nonetheless, OP needs to slowly back out from this relationship.